It is time for the fantasy football dumpster darlings, the players who, out of nowhere, and probably to the help of absolutely no one, come up with gigantic fantasy football weeks, helping to drag whatever team they were on into either a victory or a lot of frustration because these players were left on the bench. So each week I run through the top performances from the low-rated players and see what a full team of that would look like, just to show us how absolutely cruel fantasy football can be. At quarterback, Cooper Rush, 5% owned, 17.98 fantasy points. Our wide receiver almost beat that for the 0% rostered that David Moore is. He put up 17.1 fantasy points. I didn't put what team David Moore plays for on here, and I've already forgotten. Calvin Austin III, 1% owned, which seems high, comes in at 15.3 fantasy points. Our running back this week, Ameer Abdullah, 25% owned, which is entirely too high, comes in at 15 fantasy points. Our RB2 basically got all of this on one play, but Justice Hill at 20% owned, 13.2 fantasy points. The tight end, not Travis Kelce, it's Noah Gray, 4% owned, 20.6 fantasy points. This week we're running a 2 tight end set because Austin Hooper's in our flex. For the nobody that rostered him, he put up 13.5 fantasy points. Our defense, Seattle, 9% rostered, 20 fantasy points, and our kicker this week at 1% is Nick Folk. So all that together, got a couple running backs who are owned on a lot of teams. Aside from that, no actual players owned on more than 5% of rosters, and you could put together a team at 135.68 fantasy points. The gems are out there. You just got to dig through a lot of garbage each week to try to find them. Those are the dumpster darlings for Week 12 in the National Football League.